Have you ever wondered what will happen to your Monstera if you cut all the leaves off and cut the stem in half? Well, that's what I did to my Monstera Thai Constellation. I cut the stem in half and cut all the beautiful variegated leaves off. Only kidding! I didn't do that to my Monstera Thai Constellation, but I did do it to my green Monstera. I just wanted to experiment, see what happens. So I took some clean clippers. Each stem I cut in half and I cut all the remaining leaves off. I left the plant in the original spot. I didn't move it anywhere, and I gave it still the same care routine of watering my plant when the soil was completely dry. And after 1 month, well, 1 month, it didn't do anything. There was no new leaves growing. The good thing though is that none of the stems died. I couldn't see any fungal or bacterial disease, and there was no pest on the remaining stems. And I assume that's because the Monstera had such a good, strong root system. It was surviving through the roots and the nutrients that were in the stems. And because basically it couldn't photosynthesize new energy because it didn't have any leaves at all. And so 1 month, no change at all. I kind of got sick of seeing my Monstera that way. I didn't think it looked pretty because it had no leaves, so I decided to move it outside. So I brought it outside and placed it in the area where it's semi-sheltered. It receives bright light and also direct sunlight in the afternoon. And I was kind of a bit worried that maybe the direct sunlight in the afternoon would actually burn the stems and the plant would die. But to my surprise, no, that didn't happen at all. And all the stems still survived. And after 1 month of moving it outside, which means that it's 2 months from the time I pruned the Monstera, I could see new growth. And I was quite surprised that new growth would occur that quickly, considering 1 month indoor, it didn't do it, I think. And the new growth, it wasn't just one leaf, it was actually every single stem had at least 1 or 2 leaves. And so I think what happens is that by hard pruning a Monstera, the plant sends its messages to its nodes. And nodes are basically areas where new leaves grow out. It activates those nodes and new growth occurs. And a lot of the stems were having at least 1 leaf, if not 2 leaves. And they were quite small, they were quite delicate. I continued with my experiment. And then in 3 months' time, I could see a lot more growth occurring. A lot of the stems actually had 2 leaves growing out of it. And then with the leaves, they were starting to get bigger as well. And then after 5 months' time, I had a lot more growth occurring. You could see the plant is looking very bushy now. The only thing is that I noticed is that the actual leaves, the leaves that are growing are not the mature form of Monstera. And what I mean by that is that a mature form of Monstera, it has fenestrations in it. Fenestrations are those beautiful splits and holes that occur in the leaves that a lot of us love, including myself. And with hard pruning a Monstera, the leaves that came out were really immature leaves. They were solid. They might have had 1 split or 1 fenestration in it. Otherwise, it was like a full solid leaf. And with that, with this experiment, I've learned that with Monsteras, if you hard prune your Monstera, it's still going to survive because it has a strong, tough root system. And also by hard pruning a Monstera, the leaves will revert to the immature form that's more solid, but you actually get in the end a bushier plant, because I did notice that a lot of leaves were growing all at once on each stem rather than 1 leaf at a time. So I think over time, the Monstera just looks more bushier, which I do actually love the look of it at the moment. And we'll see what happens to it in the future. But this is just my little experiment that I've done for the past 5 months. And if you did enjoy this content today, don't forget to hit the likes button, subscribe to the channel. Please help your crazy plant lady out by doing that so I can create more content for your viewing. If you have any tips or advice of your own or experiments that you've done, I'd love to read about it in the comment section down below. If you have any questions for me, don't forget, leave a comment down below and I will get back to you. If you want to know how to take care of Monstera and set it up for success, watch this video here where I show you all my tips. See you next video.